Hey Woodturners, Capt.Eddie here in the shop. In this episode we're going to talk about Corian and some things you can do with it, but had some requests on how do you work with it. Okay, let's get started with the fact that Corian, this is a Corian rip. It's a countertop material. It's acrylic. It's softer than your tools. So this is okay. Comes in a couple of different brands like Max and a few others. As long as it's acrylic, it's okay. Acrylic, you slap it over an edge and it cracks off, you're okay. Scratch it with a knife blade, you're okay. Those products you can work with. Now it comes in two thicknesses. I used to think it was 1/4 and 1/2, but it's actually 6mm and 12mm for you guys across the pond, where you use numbers you can work with. Okay. Now, if you want to do a pen blank out of Corian, you need to put two of what us Americans call 1/2-inch thick pieces together. If you like to get artsy, you put what we would call a 1/4 inch in between, 12, 6, 12. When you get real artsy, you cut it on a diagonal and cut your blank out of it so the color passes through. Yeah, it depends on how artsy you want to get. This is some beautiful material to work with. Let me show you how you're going to put the pieces together. You ready? Watch. Start with the fact that when you buy a Corian countertop in your kitchen, they take the pieces of Corian and they put them together with a seamer, a sealant that matches. You can't do that because that sealant won't hold up to what you're going to do to it. So we're going to lap it flat. How do we lap it flat? Okay. If you ever worked on a small engine block or a cylinder head and it warped, you put a piece of sandpaper down on top of a flat piece of steel and you lap it to make it dead flat, well, that's what we're going to do here. Start out with a sample of glass. Now you can get a piece of this from your local glass company. Look for an architectural glass supplier or a general contractor that does commercial work. Look for a piece of sample that he's got. This has got a impact resistant screen in between it, right down in the middle here. And that makes it a little more stable. It's not what I have in the shop. What I have is one of these big insulated puppies. And it's been dropped, knocked over and everything else, and it's got a transite surface on it, which is a glass type product. Now, to start with, you want it sliding around so you can put something underneath it. I put this piece of padding on the bottom that comes from Home Depot that you use on wire shelves to keep stuff from falling through. But if you don't have that, find yourself an old mouse pad. Nobody's got mice anymore. They have those ball things and finger things on their laptops. So you find an old mouse pad. It works great for that. Also works good for when you back up something. We're going to put a sheet of 220 grit paper on here. We're going to put it down with some regular wood glue. Now you can use spray glue if you want, but wood glue will work for what you're doing here. It's easier to change if you use wood glue. We're going to glue it down and make sure it's dead flat. I said wood glue so you can make it real smooth. No ripples underneath. Critical. That is now your flat surface. I'm going to take this piece of Corian. Now all Corian has got two sides. And you're thinking why I'm such a freaking genius, right? One of them is nice and smooth and glossy. See that? That's what goes up on your kitchen countertop, right? Okay. This is what goes down on your kitchen countertop. When it's poured in a pan, it's poured like this. And the slick surface is on the bottom. Now, for pieces that have got color embedded in it, just like this one, the heavy color, the small chips, are in the bottom closer to this surface. That's going to give you a better color. So when you're putting two pieces together and cutting away the outside, you're cutting away the waste block and you're leaving the color. This is really important on a couple of their colors called Raspberry Ice, and they have a few others that are black and they got sparkles in them. You'll cut away the sparkles. Now, this goes down. What do? Easy. Sandpaper. A little bit of water. Watch this. Wax on, wax off. Wax, no, that was a different movie. Okay. Mr. Miyagi's got me doing this, and I'm going to learn how to fight do the bird stance and all that stuff. Okay, you just want me to stop standing, right? Okay. Now, that's what I did. I'm going to dry it off here and show you that what I just did was flatten this surface, dead flat. Now, when I do this to two pieces and I put them together, I'm going to flatten this one too, okay? And I put them together, I have no crack, no gap. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to do the other one in a minute. We'll put them together. Let's see. It was wax on, wax on, wax off. Okay, wax off. Uh-oh. What if I do a figure eight? Do you get to kick that kid's butt right off the bat? Yeah. Let's get into putting it together. What I put down on the table just now was cut-right wax paper. It's real critical that you use something that the super glue won't stick to and make a mess on. Now, I dried my pieces. I dried them so well that I dried my hands, I dried them, I cleaned them again, and then I dried them again. You have water on them and you're going to get a premature set, and you don't want that because water and super glue, they don't talk to each other. They're like my great aunts, okay? Got my three pieces. Now, I like to use medium thick super glue. Get this from Paul at Star Bond. I like the medium thick. Don't write me any letters, okay? I know I can use medium thin. I know I can use thin. I know there's other ways to do it, but I'm doing it. All right, medium thick. Doesn't take a lot. That's way more than I need. Again, I don't spread it out. I put it down just like that. No wax on, wax off. One was one way, one was the other. Then I stand them up, line them up. That's when this high-tech clamping equipment comes into place. In the fall catalog called high-tech clamping equipment. Now, when you put it on, you want to make sure that you don't twist the clamp. Why? Because you will pull those out of line by twisting, like this. You know what I'm saying? Like joysticks. Now, clamp both sides, and we're going to let it sit. Okay. Now, if you think I'm going to rush this, it took me 10 minutes to get them ready. Okay, so it's a set of blanks. I got 8 to 10 minutes in them after cutting the length and everything else. I'm not going to rush it. I really do believe that glue cures. It doesn't dry. So this is going to sit and wait until tomorrow when I'm going to trim it, cut it, and show you how to cut the blank out. You can turn off your computer for, oh no, wait, I'll just go ahead and do a pause. You don't have to stay with me, I'll wait till tomorrow. But you see what happened? It came out the bottom, it came out here, and it's on the wax paper. When I get all done, I'll throw the wax paper away. Don't have a problem, okay? You gonna stay with me? Good. Next, we'll cut out a pen blank. This is the blank I finished up with yesterday. There's a little bit of overage, and it's going to be a little hard to set it on the saw and lay it out on one side. So I normally just crank up the saw, clean up one side so that can go down. Oh, what you heard just now, in one of my earlier tips, I showed you how to put a bypass or a secondary switch on your saw that turns on both my lamp back here and my vacuum cleaner. Every time I turn on the saw, I reach around the side, hit the switch, and both things. I get more light and the vacuum. Now, this is my sample blank. Just happened to be some diamond wood. The dimensions of this are pretty simple. One side is a light 5/8. The other side is a heavier 5/8. Now, how do I know that? In 1965, Mr. Dewey in Delgado told me that these are 5/8 of an inch thick. Great gauge, been using it my entire career. Okay, so because I like to turn these a little bit heavier blank, I'm going to use the 3/4 side or the heavy 5. I'm going to lay it across Now this is a little bit longer than I need, so I'm going to lay it across and go from far point to far point. Put a mark down both sides, and that's going to be the outline of my blank. You got that? You see where I'm at? Okay, let's cut it out. I'm going to use the same blank to lay out the far side, and I could almost get two out here if I planned a little better, right? But sometimes I don't storyboard all these things out. Things just happen the way they happen. Oh, save these little wedges. You put another piece of color in between, you can probably build up another blank. I still have Corian I picked up 10 years ago. In an earlier tip I showed you I keep all my drill bits in tubes marked. That's trim line. This will be a trim line set. Don't stay a lot organized, but it really saves a lot of grief when you go looking to drill something or change programs right away. Another one from earlier videos, the sliding under the bottom, how to modify your own pen vise. Now, if you ever heard the term smooth and easy, you rush this, you're going to build up some heat. You build up heat, glue's going to give up. If it doesn't appear to give up now, it'll give up when you're turning it. So smooth and easy. Alright, I had to back up a little bit because I looked in the kit and I thought I read 7mm. But then after I got it drilled, I found out it was an 8mm. So this is now an 8mm hole. I'm using medium thick CA again. I prime the hole a little bit. Go down, kind of spread it around. You can do any way you want to on that. You can use that. Well, I don't use one of those fancy pen pusher-inner tools, the tube things. They give these away free when you buy a tube of glue, and you can bring it right where you need it at, and then when this gets messed up, throw it away. How much did I just save? My finished product, wood turners. This is a seam ripper. Let me give you a little bit closer look at it. This comes out the Penn State catalog, and it's a simple little device. Look, if you make one for your wife, tell her it's when you disturb her and she may make an accident while sewing, this would help. Don't insinuate that she needs to redo work. They get sensitive about that. Alright, we took scraps. That's right, Corian scraps. A little medium thick super glue, a sheet of sandpaper, a piece of glass, and the regular shop tools. Nothing exotic and nothing special. We turned Corian. I'd like you to play around with Corian a little bit. Get some scraps. Look for a distributor. See if you can get the sink cutouts or the end mill drops and colors that went out, things like that. It's an extremely stable product. It's good for building jigs, rigs, templates. I built the Chuck's Relay Zilla out of it. So it's really good material to work with. I think you'll like it. Oh, you can drill it, you can tap it, you can machine it, you can route it, you can trim it, you can sand it, you can buff it, you can etch it, you can scribe it, you can't burn it. Just for you pyro nuts that wanna, won't work. But you can inlay in it, all kinds of things. It's one of the most versatile building materials around. Give it a try. Hey, I'm Capt.Eddie Castellan. I'm making shavings. They'd be plastic, but they shavings, and they all count, remember? The goal is to die with shavings around your feet. I even got pink ones today. She's really gonna love me after this. I might even get food tonight. But I need it.